A very good morning, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guest. Hello, this is Toastmaster Mobuni, Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. I welcome you all to this Globetrotters Toastmasters meeting. With this, a big round of applause for this morning meeting. Before starting the meeting, I would like to state the ground rules which we generally follow in our Toastmaster meeting. I would like to request my dear friends, please rename yourself. All the Toastmaster prefix TM to your name and guest as guest and other role players. Please rename your name by adding previously. All the speakers are requested, please do a quick audio video check before starting your speech. I would like to request, please keep your audio on mute in case you are not speaking, and if your video is on, please maintain proper posture. Please do not talk of sex, religion, or politics in a derogatory manner. In Toastmaster, we have a mission. Here we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Ladies and gentlemen, now help me to greet our Madam Principal, who is a software developer by profession and a sincere Toastmaster from past 2 years. So, please put your hands together and provide a warm welcome to our Madam President, none other than Toastmaster Shushmita Samanta. Madam, please take the control of this podium.
Thank you, Toastmaster Moboni. To all, let's the applause keep going for our wonderful, cheerful star, Toastmaster Moboni. And not only for Toastmaster Moboni, just keep applauding a little more for Globetrotters Toastmaster Club, as today we are celebrating its 80th meeting. So what does the number 80 mean? That I would like to know from couple of members. Toastmaster Mrinal, you are the chartered member of Globetrotters Toastmaster Club. I would like to know from you, what does the number 80 signifies to you?
Can you repeat once again?
Today we are celebrating 80th meeting of Globetrotters Toastmaster Club, and you were one of the chartered member. So what this number 80 signifies to you?
So for me, as a entire member, we should grow. And nowadays, we as a all member, we try to being one of the advanced club in District 124. So that's why each and every meeting, we try to connect with global peoples in our club also, that each and everyone should grow as a member. They can bring up the quality of leadership. So that should be our priority. So I'm happy to be part of such a beautiful club, and I must congratulate to all the members. Because of you, all of you, we achieved Golden Gavel Award in this year. So without your support, it's not possible. I can see the dedication for each and every members. And today we are enjoying 80th meeting of Globetrotters Toastmaster Club. And I am sure, I can assure you, coming days, with the help of all of you, we can bring up all the greater side of quality of the meeting in our club. So that will definitely do. So back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mrinal. And to me, number 80 has 2 digits, 8 and 0. And number 8, if you turn it little bit, what it becomes? Anyone? It becomes infinite symbol. So this is the time of infinite opportunity. Grab it. I request everyone to grab this infinite opportunity. And number 0. You can tell 0 is nothing. To me, zero is everything. It's completely up to you how you are going to utilize it. Couple of days back, this week only, I was attending a webinar about some exercise and everything. That's where I lag. And the facilitator was telling one thing that I thought of telling you today. What can make you learn anything easily? You don't have to run like a rabbit. Instead, finish it what you have started. That's where we lag. So I request everyone, since you have joined Toastmaster, grab as much as possible. It's your hard-earned money. So you have to grab it. So Toastmaster is like a seed. It's in front of you and you have a bucket. So it's up to you how many buckets of water you want to pull it. So that's what I want to tell. I will not take much of your time. I know you all are waiting for a wonderful session. Now it's time to welcome the master of the ceremony. 2 years back, whenever my husband used to call on phone, I used to hear one thing. Hey, champ, tell me, how are you? What are you doing? I was very angry on that person. Who is the champ? Then one day my husband told me, why don't you join the demo meeting of Globetrotters Toastmaster Club? Then I came to know about the person. And he has been host for many of the corporate events. He has experience in corporate sector more than 8 to 9 years, I guess. Currently, he is serving as area director of area K2, and he is the upcoming division director of Division H. Now let's welcome Toastmaster Seshadev Jaina on e-podium. Toastmaster Seshadev, e-podium is all yours. Over to you.
Thank you so much. If you can hear me, can I request each one of you to give a big and fat round of applause for our very honorable presiding officer, Toastmaster Sushmita. A warm and a very hearty good morning to each one of you. Toastmasters and future Toastmasters. I am Toastmaster Seshdev, welcoming each one of you to this beautiful meeting of Globetrotters Toastmasters Club. I am wondering if you are actually hearing me. It's because in an online meeting, it's very difficult. People who are on camera, I know you are a great audience. And people who are behind the camera are still hesitating. Am I all ready in the Sunday morning to come in this meeting? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the only key to success is when you come up with your ever smiling faces. So people who are not on camera, I'll request each one of you to come on camera and make this event look a little eventful. Before I have requested you this, let me introduce my role in today's Toastmasters meeting, and that is of the Toastmasters of the day. We will be all ears what exactly a Toastmasters of the day does in the Toastmasters meeting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in a Toastmasters meeting, we have 3 sections. The first section is a very interesting segment, and that is of a prepared speech section. Here, you get to hear the prepared speakers who are going to come up with some great content, and trust me, you would be all ears for all the speakers we have lined up today in this Toastmasters meeting. Well, the second section of the Toastmasters meeting is said to be the most interesting and elating one because that is of the table topic section. The table topic section is something where you think at your feet and you deliberately deliver your thought, your brainstorming ideas in that section. Now, what's more in that section? I'll let the table topics master reveal it later when the section pops in. Well, the third section is the most helpful section in the Toastmasters meeting. The reason is that is of the evaluation section. Trust me, in today's world, you'd never see a person patting your back and saying, hey, This is the right way. This is not the right way. And that is what evaluation section is having that utter importance in the Toastmasters meeting. It's because they recommend you, they help you, and guide you to the bench of success. Well, we will have our Honorable General Evaluator hopping on the e-stage very sooner, and we are going to have a wonderful evaluation section even today in this Toastmasters meeting. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we tear apart and start this 80th meeting with all the different sections of the Toastmasters meeting, I wanted to grab all your attention towards the theme of today's Toastmasters meeting. How many of us think that we have failed in our life? Raise your hands, please. Physical, virtual. And how many of us think that we have accepted our failures? Maybe few of us. Well, our elders say, learn from your mistakes. Quotation says, failure is the pillar of success. However, ladies and gentlemen, it is not that easy. Remember back then when we were all little kids and we were trying to walk, our parents would deliberately let us fall on floors and we would rise all of our own and then start walking. Well, things did not stop there. When we were school students, there was rat competition where you have to earn good marks. And if you're not scoring, you are out of the class, not outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, that pressure of failures have distorted our life in one way or the other. What if I tell you, than talking about high quotations, than talking about spearhead deliberate ideas, I am going to request you to have this one tip which might help you. And towards the end of the meeting, you all would promise me whether you're going to implement it. And if it is working, please let me know. The theme which I have scheduled for today's Toastmasters meeting is inhale the failure. Wait a second, Sesh. Have you gone mad? You'd rather inhale success. You'd rather inhale the victory. You being the winner of any competition. You being the champion of your life. Why would I inhale failure? That is the tip of toe. Ladies and gentlemen, in this entire cosmos, you can never win. Because like there is day, night follows in. If there happiness, there is a gloominess in your life as well. Likewise, if you taste the bitterness, the sweetness of failures, now that is going to make you learn the greatest key to success. How? We will get to know as and when we hop in into different sections, and I'm going to slip in between to let all of you know that inhaling the failures are the greatest achievement of life. Now, before that, our Honorable Presiding Officer said that it's the 80th meeting of Globetrotters Toastmasters Club. Well, you really need to have a very finest general evaluator. And Toastmaster Mrinal Kanti left no stones unturned to pick up this pearl, and he is amidst us as the general evaluator. Kuman says, it's fine. You cannot keep us in suspense. Well, I'm trying to keep suspense because his presence itself glorifies all victory. His words will keep us hooked because he is that gentleman who can never ever stop the audience getting attracted towards him. Well, he has that magic aroma in him. Ladies and gentlemen, before I invite him as a general evaluator, Globetrotters Toastmasters Club is honored to have Honorable District Director, District 124, Distinguished Toastmaster Ayanpal. Can we please first give him a big round of applause? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the first ever district which, when was born, has seen achievements and milestones and have learned under his able guidance. We all have glorified ourselves and the journey is still on, ladies and gentlemen, just to keep it in your mind. And ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman is an author. He's a renowned speaker. He is one such person who can motivate a black stone to a guru stone. Well, he has magic in his words. And I'm pretty sure that in 88th meeting, we are all going to do one thing, and that is learn from his majestic aroma of words. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us be all ears and learn from his experience, learn from his magic of words. It is time that we invite on our honorable general evaluator. Sir, general evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Oyan Pal, the E stage is all yours. And ladies and gentlemen, let us give him a thunderous round of Zoom applause as we welcome him on the E stage. Over to you.
Thank you so
Sir General.
much. Thank you so much, Sesha Dev Jaina, Area Director for this particular year. Now, before I start off, I've been very curious about this particular theme and the meeting and everything that's happening. And I have to say something about the number 80. Now, as per numerology, every number needs to become a single number through fatigue addition. And so the number 80 is 80, which means 8 plus 0, which means 8. And the number 8 is associated with setting goals. And I think Globetrotter Club has been setting goals and achieving them. Congratulations on being a recipient of the Golden Gavel and a lot of other accolades that you've got throughout the year. I think in your heart there is no fear, and for you, success is always very near. That having been said, today we are here to help your successes seem sweeter and your failures seem like lessons in learning. And to be able to do that, I have with me a team of amazing role players who will ensure that time and tide and hiccups wait for none. And in the process, also help us to together have some fun. Let's begin with the timer. Today, the timer's role is being played by Indranil Mukherjee. May I please request Indranil to share with us about how exactly will he be performing this role? Over to you, Indranil Mukherjee, as the timer.
Yeah, thank you, sir. But before explaining my role, I request the host to give me access because I have to share my timer card.
Absolutely,
as a
Indranil.
timer,
Also, just so you know, your bandwidth is a little low. So you may want to be careful about your bandwidth to ensure that the timer cards are properly displayed during the meeting.
Okay, can I come back later after account or after grammarian? Until then, I try to
Okay.
change
Just you can
check my
make
bandwidth
that
and
change. Yes, no problem. They say time and tide wait for none,
thank
but we
you.
all have to wait for the timer. So we will wait for you, Indranil. I'm going to go to the next tag team player. Today, the role of the R counter is being played by Thrubodip Mitro. Thrubodip, may I request you to tell us a little bit more about your role?
Imagine you are listening to a music early in the morning and you are dancing the tune of the music with your partner, and suddenly the power goes off. Don't you feel frustrated? Well, a speech is like a music to our ears, and any interruption to that will make us frustrated. So today, as an R counter, my job is to keep a check of the overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen to filler sounds, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase, such as I, this means this means. And at the end of the meeting, I'll come back with a full report. That's all from my end, and back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Subhadeep. It's when we know about our R's, it is then that we ensure that we turn it into an aha moment. And I hope we will be able to have a lot of aha moments in our meeting today. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to share with you the name of the person who will tell us how well we have been performing as per the Queen's language. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to introduce you all to the grammarian. And today, the role of the grammarian is being played by Toastmaster Madhusudan CS. May I please request Madhusudan to tell us a little bit more about what exactly he's going to do as the grammarian of the day. Over to you, Madhusudan.
Good morning, Toastmaster of the day, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. I am Toastmaster Madhusudan, grammarian for today's meeting. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers and observe their language usage, and also good sayings, thoughts, quotes. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day for today's meeting is success, which means accomplishment of what is aimed at or favorable outcome. As a sentence, I will use it, the word of the day, success. The GTC meeting, 80th of its kind, with all the stalwarts members, will be a grand success. And each member or speaker is requested to use the word of the day. And when word of the day is used by members or speakers during the course of the day, I request members to show thumbs up or applause for the usage of the word of the day. I will give my report when called upon by General Evaluator. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Madhusudan. I hope when it comes to our language, we will face more success and less failure. And we will stride forward without any fear in our hearts. So that, ladies and gentlemen, are the tag team who will tag and tackle anything that goes wrong or can go better in today's meeting. As you know, and at the beginning, as I told you, Indranil Mukherjee was facing some bandwidth issues. I hope the timer is now ready to present his report. Indranil, may we have a description of your role, please? Indranil Mukherjee. Okay. If Indranil Mukherjee is not available, may I please request the presiding officer, Shushmita, to be the backup timer for the day. Shushmita, maybe you can be the backup timer for today. I hope that's fine. I'm not able to hear anyone. I'm hoping.
Yeah,
You are
sorry,
mute.
I'm extremely sorry. Yeah,
Oh, no problem.
I'm arranging my timer to my new device. Yeah, I'll be the backup timer of the day. Just to let you know, all the members, the timer rules is very important as we don't to miss out our Sunday lunch with our family member. So as timer, I will note down the timing of prepared speeches and table topics and evaluation, everything. For prepared speeches, it will be depending on the speakers. So today we have different kind of speakers. If in case the prepared speech of 5 to 7 minutes, I will show my timer card at green card at 5 minutes, yellow card at 6 minutes, and red card at 7 minutes. There will be grace period of 30 seconds, both in the lower and upper side. And in case of table topic, I will show red card, green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1.5 minutes, and red card at 2 minutes. And for table topic, there will be only grace period in the upper side, nothing in the lower side. And for evaluation, it will be for 2 to 3 minutes. So 2 minutes, we will have green card, 2.5 minutes, we will have yellow card, and 3 minutes, we will have red card. And as usually, there will be 30 seconds of grace period. And the red card will be turned on if you cross the limit also, but if you cross the limit of your speech, you won't be part of voting. And I'll be showing the timer card within couple of minutes because I need to arrange it in my new
That is
device.
fine,
I'm extremely
Shushmita.
sorry. Before prepared first speaker is
Thank
coming
you
on
so much,
stage, I'll
Shushmita.
show you. Thank you, and back to you, General Manager. Thank you.
That's absolutely fine. Also, your connection is having a better bandwidth, but if required, maybe you can switch off your camera or turn off your camera. That will ensure that the bandwidth is completely utilized. Also, if Indranil is back, we will allow him to be back with a bang. But for the time being, ladies and gentlemen, it's both a pleasure and a privilege to share with you once again what I feel about our Toastmaster of the day. Our Toastmaster of the day's last name is Jena, but I think it should have been turned into Jana because he seems to know, as per the Bengali words, a lot of things. His name is derived from a mythological, powerful creature which is always to be found around the neck of Lord Shiva. Supposed to be the king of snakes, there is absolutely nothing snake-like in his demeanor and everything kingly about his attitude to serving people better. Ladies and gentlemen, it's both a pleasure and a privilege to hand it over to the Toastmaster of the day, current area director, Sisha Dev Jena. Over to you, Sisha.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for our very honorable general evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Ayan Pal. Toastmasters in future. Yes, DTM Gayatri.
I just wanted to request, is it okay if I can go as the second speaker? Because I have committed my room to one of the clubs in Noida. So I'll leave this room, I'll open the room for that club's meeting and join that, if that is fine.
Yeah, sure. Honorable presiding officer,
If
I
that
hope.
is okay. Vandita is waiting for me to open the room.
Yeah, I have a quick request. I think Onno had requested that he wants to be the first evaluator. So maybe we can exchange Binan and Gayatri if that is fine.
No problem. This is, I think, a new club or something, which is their first meeting, so I don't want to set that discussion for them.
That's okay.
Okay. Thank you, Muna.
Binan is
Okay.
okay, we can do that.
Grabbing the attention of all of you. So we have a small tweak in, and that is how we adjust. We are compatible in a Toastmasters meeting. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what we exactly learn in District 124 together towards tomorrow. Toastmasters and future Toastmasters. It's very important that before you climb up in the ladder, you got to step down a little bit, knowingly, unknowingly, people dragging your legs down or whatsoever it is. The theme for today, Inhale Failure, tells us lesson one, no matter what, you do not have to depend on anyone to climb up or to get up, in fact. Inhale the failure impinges you to understand what success means to each one of you. I'm not going to give you tips. I'm not going to give you advices. It is real-time experiences. Remember Toastmasters and future Toastmasters, when we were all kids and we were falling down on playgrounds or anywhere else, we were the ones who were uplifting our moral, ours, and get up and then start walking. If you implement this one impingement of your life, I believe things are going to change. You're always not going to depend upon someone else who is going to extend your hands, lift you up, and push you to the verge of the world. So before we start this first section of the Toastmasters meeting, this would be my first request one. Before you inhale the failure, the lesson one, the chapter one is you need to uplift yourselves. There's no one else who's going to help you up, push you to the vanishment of the world. Well, friends, we will keep tasting these benches of failures and how exactly we know that we are inhaling the failures. And as the Toastmasters of the day, I'm definitely going to help. However, I'm not going to come in between the affluent speakers and you as the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time we get into the bench of the first section of the Toastmasters meeting. And that, if you remember, I said you, is the prepared speech section. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a beautiful ceremony that before we get to hear the prepared speakers, we will have their individual evaluators letting each one of us know what is the speech objective. So, the speaker one today has its individual evaluator as distinguished Toastmaster Arnav Nag. Ladies and gentlemen, can we all give him a big round of applause? And I would invite the individual evaluator to read out the speech objective. Over to you, sir, individual evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. The speaker today will be attempting a level 1 project from the visionary communication path. The project is titled Writing a Speech with a Purpose. The purpose of the speech though the purpose of this project is for the speaker to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well organized speech on any topic. Madam Timer, please note the timing is 5 to 7 minutes, and I wish the speaker the very best.
A big round of applause for our individual evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Arnav Nag. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you talk about success, you talk about failure. Well, currently it's 1:17 a.m. at US, and Arnav Nag is still with us. That fortifies his commitment, his dedication towards Toastmasters International. And people who do not know, distinguished Toastmaster Arnav Nag has recently been the podium finishers of the District 124 contest. Can we have a big round of applause for this gentleman? Okay, we have two raise of hands.
I believe, we have to wait for the timer card to be displayed. I believe Shushmita needs the access to be able to showcase the timer cards.
Toastmaster and Indranil, our timer of the day, Toastmaster Indranil is back and he will be sharing the card. That's
Okay,
what
perfect.
I told. So I request Toastmaster Indranil to share the card. I'll be the backup timer.
Thank you. So just ensure
Yeah,
that the
Mohani
cards are
can share
shared.
that.
Yeah, perfect. Over to you, Shesha.
Thank you so much. Toastmaster Indranil, yes, I can see the timer cards red, which I do not really like. So thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, our timer is back with all his energy, and that is what I said. You inhale the failures and achieve the success. Well, I was talking about distinguished Toastmaster Arnav Nag. Can we have once again a big round of applause for our individual evaluator? And now it's time, ladies and gentlemen, we get to hear the speaker one of today's Toastmasters meeting. However, Toastmasters of the day is not just about being the MC of the meeting. I'm also supposed to help the speaker. So let's take a quick audio video check. Toastmaster Mrinal Ghosh, can you please repeat with me? It's a beautiful day to start this meeting up.
It's a beautiful day to speaking up.
Well, his smile and his energy speaks cloud nine. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the speaker one is going to give or deliver his speech from the pathways visionary communication. This is going to be his level 1 project 2 speech, writing a speech with purpose. His speech title being choose your words wisely. Toastmaster Mineral Kanti Ghosh, choose your words wisely. Over to you.
What? Why all people are looking at me? Do you think smoking kills? Let me tell you some figure and facts. Do you know number of people dying from diabetics are 3 times higher than smoking? Another things, people have to meet that root cause of lung cancer is because of cigarette. It's absolutely disgusting. Root cause of lung cancers is actually your DNA. My dear friends, it's your DNA. You know why people are against of smoking? Their entire world want to destroy the industry of $941 billion industry. Think of that, $941 billion industry. Good morning, fellow Toastmaster and elite guest. I have the same argument with some of my friends. And as a result, what happened? 5 of them believe what I said. And 2 of them started smoking just because of my word. So, ladies and gentlemen, your words are very powerful. How you articulate your story, it creates a great impact among all of you. You can bring someone from slums of the life and make them successful. Or you can make a happy, successful persons into a disaster persons. is all your words. So friends, use your words precisely. Today I'll share a story of two stories. One story of my daughter and another story of my friends. So what happened? I have a girl who is just 6 years old. She had a very bad habit. She always tried to write with a wall with the crayons. Always try to write with the crayons. One day, when I came from the office, I entered to her room and she is doing a drawing and writing with her crayons. I entered the room and said, "Hey, are you stupid? What are you doing with your crayons?" And trust me, friends, what happened? You maybe have believed that he may be stopped, but thing is totally different. In this entire world, nobody like to be threatened or nobody like to be intimidated. What she did, she just spied on me. Same thing happened on me. After 1 week later, she did the same thing. And that time, she looked at me and drawing like this with crayons. Dad, how is this fine? I'm totally fed up with my daughters. And next day, I'm thinking I need to use something new technique. After 1 week later, same thing happened with my daughters. She once again, she write with his crayons in the wall. And this time, I told my daughter, Sona, please come to me. Daughter, you are now a big girl. Don't do it, Babu. Don't do it. And trust me, friends, what happened? Next time, she never used with crayons and writing in the walls. And she told me, Dad, can you do one favor for me? You can purchase another new house, or otherwise you can paint the entire house and not do it again. Why this is happened? Because your words is very much important. How you use that, it creates a lot of impact. Now, I'm coming to my friends. My friend Sandeep, she loves her girlfriend like by heart. She take care like anything. Whenever I interact with Sandeep, he always mention about girlfriend. My girlfriend is very beautiful. He always care about me. He is very sympathy. He's always guide me. But only one problem. She don't have time for me. She always showing busy. Anything happen to Sandeep, and when he reply to her girlfriend, simple reply come, yes, I call you back. I still remember the incident of in the year 2016. What happened? My friends got a recognition from the company. Then what happened? He connect with her girlfriend. Hi, darling. I got a first prize in this year. And what reply came? Hey, hey Sandeep, I just call you back. I'm busy right now. I am busy till he waiting for the 1 hour, 2 hour, but not call not yet come. Although he shares is one of the most memorable journey of his life. What happened? I am busy. Suddenly, what happened? She totally disgusted my friend Sandeep. She started drinking. She started drug addicted and tried to hang around with wrong friend. And as a result, I told my friend, why you spoil your life? You have a beautiful life with beautiful family. You just take care of your family. He told, if he's not care of me, why should I care of my friends? So same thing, what happened till remember after 1 year, I got a call from my friend in in the hospital, and I can see the sound of beep, beep, beep. Only one sentence can spoil the life of Sandeep, and Sandeep is no more in the world. So friends, please remember, your word is very powerful. Use it precisely. Back to you, Timothy.
Toastmasters and future Toastmasters, can we have a big round of applause for speaker Toastmaster Mrinal Kanti Ghosh? Such a wonderful effect you have when the speaker leaves the stage off. You still have that vibe of the content he delivered in front of us. Well, that is exactly I love about Toastmasters International, because when you hear different contents, you kind of become nostalgic. You connect yourself with the content and put yourself as a character. I hope all of you relate with me, my beautiful audience. Ladies and gentlemen, success to me is not being on the podium, holding the trophy, or giving a big fight, a big smile on the stage. Success to me is when you get to hear such eloquent speakers in Toastmasters International and take something back to you, yourself, and try to implement one or two out of them. And you see life changes miracles. And that is what gives a little halo effect on the tip one, which I gave to all of you on the tip, which is inhale the failure, is something when you learn from others, you yourself. Well, let's keep these beads of beautiful magical words go on and see the beautiful garland getting built in front of us. Well, the next bead which will help us to create this garland of magic is going to be again a very I would rather say a very interesting speaker. And as always, we're going to first hear the individual evaluator, because we got to know the speech objective of the speaker, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, presenting in front of you, the person whom I'm going to hear after a long while, a very energetic speaker who is going to be the individual evaluator too of our second speaker. May I please request with great round of applause as we welcome in Toastmaster Ankan Ghosh, evaluator 2 for speaker 2. Toastmaster Ankan Ghosh, the stage is all yours. Let us please know the speech objective. Over to you, sir.
Famous American author Kevin Tracy said, be the type of leader that everyone will follow you, even when you don't have any title or position. And I believe in order to be that type of leader, the most important thing is understand your unique leadership style. And it has been immense pleasure for me to say that today the speaker too, in her journey of the pathway leadership development, delivering level 2, project 2, understand your leadership style. Now, the purpose of the project is the speaker has to learn during the project her own leadership style, and then she has to deliver a speech on either her own leadership style or overall the type of leadership styles in general. Madam Timer, please note that for this speech, the time is 5 to 7 minutes. So green at 5, yellow at 6, and red at 7. With this, may the force be the speaker, and over to you, Satya.
Well, what an outstanding way an individual evaluator can narrow the speech objective. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ankan Ghosh. And let's give him a big round of applause for this. Uh, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time we get to hear the speaker two of today's Toastmasters meeting. And before I invite her on stage, well, Toastmaster Shomita Sengupta has been an example to many. She has been the ex-president of this club, and trust me, it's a great you to hear her on stage once again. So I will not waste any time to invite her. Well, Toastmaster Shomita Sengupta is being mentored by Toastmaster Arnav Ghoshal, well, the Pathways Leadership Development, and she is coming along in front of us with a speech which is from Level 2 Project of Understanding a Leadership Style. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmaster Shomita Sengupta, choose to lead. Choose to lead. Toastmaster Shomita Sengupta, the E-stage is all yours.
Before the timer starts the timing card, I just want to confirm whether I am clearly audible and visible.
You are.
Please check the timer card or so on.
Who is the timer currently? Shushmita, you are the timer?
No, Indrani.
Yes, I am able to see the cards now. Shall I start?
Yes.
The mobile kept ringing, and I was too tired to pick up and talk, so I just sent a message that I will be further late. The two hands of the clock crept towards 2, and the atlas-like load of work to be delivered before it was assigned. I was elated when my inbox chimed with the message of 2 incoming emails. This must be the news of 2 resources I was looking for. Friends, sometimes you get more than you expect, and sometimes those times seems like a mirage. Those 2 emails brought the news of 2 more projects assigned to me and all to be delivered soonest. I told to myself, Shomita, chin up. Let's go home today. The sun will come up tomorrow. Next day, I returned elated and energetic. Before I could settle down, one of my best team members came with the news that she needs an immediate release due to medical reason. My whole world was moving only in one direction, downward. I was almost on the verge of nervous breakdown and I rushed to my department lead to talk about my issue. Now, his response. Shomita, you are a senior resource and we know that you will be able to deliver in time. Remember, these are our critical projects. None of them can be neglected. An operation is on the way. Dear ladies and gentlemen, there are various kinds of leaders. Some are authoritative, some are affiliative, some loves the consensus style, and some bows by the coaching style. So what do you think my department leader had? Well, not a lot of marks to guess there. He practiced authoritative style of leadership, where people dictates action to the subordinates. My days passed on, and hearing my state, my immediate boss reached out to me. He said, Shomita, why don't you ask for few resources? Talk to the HR, get the process, and raise a request. Also, talk to the projects and see if someone is available. I immediately raised the requisition for people joining in my team. Now, there are some leaders who leads from front, gets into the water, roll up their sleeves, and tell the team what to do. These are called as pace setter style of leaders. There are some leaders who will encourage you, empathize you, advise you, but would not get involved in the actual work. Now, what do you think my supervisor practiced? Well, you got it right again. He practiced affiliative style of leadership here. I took the initiative to drop the entire project. I help the HR with the CV so that new people can be recruited and a team can be formed. With certain hits and misses, my team was formed with people from various experience and vivid personality. I also got 2 resources from internal projects who will cater partially to my project. Hence, my team of 5 were like a 5 fingers. Each has different challenges and time was pacing fast. Although with a focused approach, a level-headed approach of working and stretching myself beyond the working hour, I focused on mentoring and guiding my team, and eventually we pulled up those 3 projects. And it was a complete success. Friends, when I look back, I bask in glory, but trust me, those days were really challenging. Hadn't I took the immediate decision to form a team and plunging into this project, pulling up those projects wouldn't have been easier. So what do you think my leadership is? Is it coaching or democratic? Well, in coaching style, leaders don't tell others what to do. They help prepare people for the future and focus on their goal. And in democratic style, members take active participation in decision-making process. I realize that my leadership style is a mix of coaching and democratic. I have the ability to mentor people, and I also have the ability to help them in the decision-making process. Thus, I find this style very fruitful while taking any decisions in my life. Now, my dear Toastmasters, just like the members of your team, you cannot be or employ one kind of leadership. You have to have a leadership style which suits you, but you have to change as per your situation. Because leadership is the ability to get the best out of anyone, get the best out of extraordinary from the ordinary people. And remember, if you are surrounded by very calm and gentle people, just like the Toastmasters sitting in this room, you employ in one way. What if tomorrow a bunch of rebellion encompass you? Your mode of operation will be different. So, my dear friends and Toastmasters, identify your leadership style. Work on it. But be ready with all the styles in your bouquet because you can only emerge as a true leader, irrespective of any situation, when you employ all the styles. What do you think, Mr. Toastmaster of the day?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a good round of applause for Toastmaster Shomita Sengupta? As I said, she comes on each stage. She'll definitely leave a bunch of impression. Thank you so much. I think this is a moment of success. As I said, every speaker goes off stage. We get to learn something from them, right? Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shomita Sengupta, for giving us this pinch of experience of exploring the world and knowing your leadership style as well. Well, friends. As I said, we are preparing a garland of magical words, right? So let us not stop. Let us enjoy the spree of words, speeches going on and on, right? Friends, the last speech of today's first section of the statement, which is the prepared speech section. And now we're going to hear a speech from a very eloquent leader, distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri Deshmukh. But before that, as I said, the beautiful ceremony, the beautiful moment where you get to hear the individual evaluator. Now, before I invite on the third individual evaluator, I just wanted to give her a very great accolade. I have been seeing her from the very start of the meeting, a very constant smile. She's on video. I think there are certain people, there are certain leaders who create this mask of happiness in your life, right? Thank you so much, ma'am. Well, without wasting much time, can I request each one of you to give our third evaluator, individual evaluator, Toastmaster Meena M, to come on stage and let us know the speech objective of the third speaker. Ma'am, evaluator, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, Sheshadev. Today we have our speaker 3, Gayatri Deshmukh, attempting her project 1 in level 5 in presentation mastery path. The purpose, it is for the speaker to prepare to speak professionally, and purpose of this project is for the member to practice develop longer speech. Note to the timer, the speech duration is 18 to 22 minutes. Am I audible?
You're audible now, ma'am. Would you please repeat the speech objective, please, for the BS to the audience,
Sure.
please?
Sure. Thank you. Sorry for the network glitch. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. This is project 1 from level 5 in presentation mastery. And note to the timer, the speech duration is 18 to 22 minutes. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Madam Evaluator. A big round of applause for individual evaluator, Toastmaster Meena M. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the speaker 3 coming in front of us is my co-area director from Area K3, distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri Deshmukh. Well, she is being mentored by Dan Maggal and Rudradev Roy Chaudhary. Presentation mastery being her pathway. She's coming along in front of us with the level 5 project 1, prepare to speak professionally. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri Deshmukh, speech title Pawn, speech
Audio
title
video check.
speech
Audio,
title.
audio video check. Just wanted to check
Okay.
if
Sure, no problem. Ma'am, if you could please repeat with me, I'm all set to give my speech today.
I'm all set to give my speech today.
Thank you. You're audible and you're visible as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri Deshmukh with her speech title Pawn, distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri Deshmukh, Madam Speaker, the E-stage is all yours.
Remember the first day of your office. You're at the entrance, looking here and there, looking at people walking with a certain level of confidence, and then watching people who are following them trying to make a point. And then comes someone who stands right next to you. Maybe your colleague, maybe your peer, maybe your immediate reporting manager. As you start walking in, you are now in front of the elevators. But there is that one elevator among the three which is reserved for the elitist of the office. You look at that elevator and think, someday I might be in that elevator. Someday an elevator might be held for me. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, more or less with slight difference, everybody has this kind of a day as their first day of office. Mine was no different. All excited, I entered the office. One thing what I knew was that I got in on my merits, which meant I was good. Obviously, I was the best, which is why I'm here. Guess what? As I enter, I get to know I'm not the only one. We are about 15 of us, all waiting to get that first project. One of the senior peers whispered into my ear, you know what? Be in the good books of that person. He's the one who gets the first project. Okay. How to be in the good books? What do I need to do? You figure something out. Now, I don't know whether it was fluke or luck or what. I did manage to get into the good books. Honestly speaking, to speak in the terms of the game, office life is ta-da, like the chessboard. And why I felt that I had made a good impression? Because, like I said, I was among the 15, the pawns, and I got to go forward 2 paces instead of one. Wow, 2 paces instead of one. And I saw my peers moving just 1 pace. I gave a smug look. Little did I know that me walking 2 paces was not about me at all. It was always about a bigger plan. What gave me the sense of security? I was the pawn with closest proximity to the queen, and with, by that logic, even the king. And I had a good knight, a bishop right behind me. I was confident. I knew I could take it. One more pace forward, and I realized the whole plan was to use me as a bait to take out the knight, which was brought out by the opposite team. Yes, I did not take out anyone. I was the bait, and I was eliminated at a very early stage. What went wrong in the entire episode? Till date, when I look back at that episode, I realized that there was nothing I could have done differently. I had to do what I had been told. I had to do what I was asked to do. I had to do what I was meant to do. I did not take that failure very lightly. I took it to the heart. I decided I am not going to work. I decided to leave. And the thing that I usually do, I sent out my first resignation letter. After reading that resignation letter, my editor, she called me and asked me, Gayatri, do you even know how to write a resignation letter? I said, yes, I'll just send you the resignation letter. I don't think I can work here. Darling, you have literally cried about everything that has happened with you since you stepped in the office. This is not a resignation letter. This is you crying, cribbing, whining. And take it from me, you're not going to go anywhere with that. She gave me a 15 days vacation. I returned. I returned with new energy. This time, I was again on the chessboard, yet again. This time, once again, I was moved 2 paces ahead and I was like, oh no. Because in those 15 days, I realized that 2 paces movement effectively made other people jealous of me. Lesson learned. While paving a path for our own success, we might want to be careful about not making our peers jealous because that can be harmful. How harmful? I was yet about to find out. This time, once again, one step at a time, I was moving forward. This time, there was the queen right diagonal to me. What do I do now? Am I supposed to die? Am I supposed to take out the queen? What is happening here? Nobody knew what was happening. At least I didn't. But those who were playing me, they knew exactly what was happening. As the pawn took out the queen, I felt the most powerful in my life ever. I took the queen out. Little did I know that it was never about me. It was about someone else who was putting things in my path. One step forward, and once again I realized it was a trap. I was just used and once again eliminated. This time I took it really hard because after taking out the queen, my ego was right here. Like, and this time it was not my feelings that were hurt. It was not my emotions that were damaged. It was nothing to do with me. It was all about how hurt and damaged my ego was. Obviously, I fell into depression. That depression went on for quite some time. If somebody has hurt us, we are bigger people. We can forgive themselves. We can forgive them. But when we are the ones who are making the mistakes, it's very difficult to forgive. Because while I was in depression, all the time, what I could do was this: reflect upon everything that had happened in the past and wonder what I could have done differently. And then came a point when I realized that probably I deserved what I got because in this process I had hurt a lot of people. In an attempt to be the most successful, I had hurt some of my friends. In an attempt to reach there first, I had alienated some of the really good peers. In an attempt to project myself as the more intelligent one, I had not hurt the ego of my reporting manager, but actually, in the process, hurt her self respect too. I think I deserved what I wanted. Am I a bad person? And then I was in Delhi. I was staying with my uncle, and we were watching the movie Rajniti. In that movie, Ranbir Kapoor kind of says something which stayed with me. During the climax, the heroine of the movie, Katrina Kaif, asks him, "Why don't you just stay back? There is no one here. We need someone to lead." And what Ranbir Kapoor said to her was this: "I never wanted to play the game because I feared I was too good at it. That devil, that demon in me will come out and nobody will be able to manage that. I think I'm better off at college teaching." A similar thing was said by someone else, someone from Harry Potter series, Albus Dumbledore, during his conversation with Harry Potter, said the same thing. When Harry asked him, "Why didn't you become Minister of Magic?" And Dumbledore very kindly said, "People like me are safe at Hogwarts. I knew what ambition could make of me, which is why I stayed as teacher because it kept me safe and world safe." Wow, a lot of profound realizations. All right, done. I am not going to play this game at all because this game brings out the worst in me. I don't ever want to do it again. Does that really happen? Ask yourself, ask yourselves. Every time you decide, "I'm not going to get in any trouble," the trouble is just round the corner. Reason? Sometimes we cannot decide what life is going to throw at us. Sometimes the destiny has everything planned out. All we can do is play along, go with the flow. That is what I did. Time changed. I had transformed as a person, but the game had not changed. What had changed was the board. What had changed were the players along with whom I was playing. And there I was, once again, finding myself in close proximity with the queen, close proximity to the king, close proximity to the bishop. But this time, I decided I'm a smarter one. I'm going to learn the moves. As a pawn, once again, I was moved forward 2 paces. The problem was, someone did not like me moving 2 paces ahead. I offered to take a step back, But that's where I realized the first rule of chess or the game. Once you have everybody on this in this game has the option to go back. But a pawn is not allowed to go back. The pawn has an only option of moving forward, which meant that this time I really had to play the game. One step at a time, moving forward. Constantly cursing myself. Why do I find myself in this situation? Fighting with the god. आज कुछ तो बहुत होंगे तुम. You must be very happy today. Yeah, that is what I would become. One step at a time, moving forward, and then found myself in the same position as I had a few years back, standing right diagonally to the queen. What happens when that happens? What would I do in this situation? I just prayed, please don't take me out, please don't take me out, please don't take me out. And this time I was not eliminated. I thought, wow, I must be special. Not really. This time I was wise. I knew that I was not eliminated because everybody knew that probably they could use me somewhere in future, which is why I was spared. But there was someone else who was like me a few years ago who got eliminated. I looked back at that person who got eliminated and thought to myself, how long am I going to continue? How long will I be able to move forward? That's where a friend told me that, Gayatri, you may consider yourself as a pawn on the chessboard, no one important. But guess what? When the time comes, even a pawn can take out a king. I was like, yeah, that's a good philosophy and theory. I have not taken out anyone ever in my life, and I don't have it in me to take out anyone in my life. And I just want to be with myself, peaceful. I knew that I was a pawn. Happily so, because I knew nobody was going to ask me questions. I knew I could get vanished. I knew I could be one among many and nobody would notice me. I was happy being a pawn. As fate would have it, there is something about pawn that I didn't know. And that thing was that if a pawn manages to reach the final line of the opposition team, a pawn can take whatever role it wants, a bishop, a knight, a castle, or the queen. And when I found myself on the opposition side's final line, I became a queen. I decided, now this is my game. I am going to play it the way I want. What do you think happened? Any guesses? Any guesses at all? Don't bother. It took me barely 2 seconds to realize that a queen is also a pawn on someone else's chessboard. If queen was playing me as a pawn, someone was moving queen according to their wishes. Forget about queen and pawn. Even the king cannot move as per his wishes. Even the king has to make the restricted movements as much as the king would want to do something. I have it in me. I have the capabilities. I can do this. Yeah, you're not supposed to. You're just supposed to delegate. And if you can see your people failing, you just have to watch them fail. The most you can do is guide. Frustrating, isn't it? Then I thought to myself, what is more frustrating? To be a pawn and not being able to do anything, or to be the king and still not being able to do anything? Ultimately, the moving powers of a pawn and king were actually the same on the chessboard, except whenever king wanted, could exchange places with the castle and call it castling or something. I don't know. One extra move, that's all. Rest, king and the pawn, just the same. My dear Toastmasters and fellow guests, what I learned in this game of life was that we will always find ourselves as a pawn on someone's chessboard. Then what is it that we have in our hands? We may not have an option to move backward, but we always have an option to move forward. We may not have an option to move sideways, but we can practice status quo when we want. I don't agree with this. I will not move. I will stay where I am. A pawn can be powerful so long as the pawn knows its limitations, so far as the pawn knows what the end game is, so far as the pawn knows what is the final motive. Throughout the game, one thing I realized is that it's not fair. It's never fair. Any kind of politics, be it office, be it even family, or be it among friends, organizations, we will always remain dirty because that's the crux of the game, that is the core of the game. Either fall in line or fall apart. Recently, during one such incident, it happened. My God, it was so thrilling. Every moment, something new was unveiling. Every moment, something new was happening, and everyone was like, how did this happen? But isn't this supposed to be like that? Shouldn't this be that? We all thought that we were players. Really, telling you. Some were celebrating success, some were like mulling and sulking in failure, only to realize that within a few hours, okay, who really succeeded? Now, I got what the end goal was. I got what I wanted. But actually, I had failed. I had a friend who got what he wanted, but he was not really succeeding because he didn't really get the end goal. I had another friend. She really wanted something. She got it, but then she was like, you know what? In this scenario, no, I don't want this. The board was laid, and within a fraction of a second, it was changed entirely. Guess what remains the same? The players keep on changing, the game remains the same. We feel that we are playing the game. But what is the real question, you know? The real question is that we have to ask ourselves, are we playing the game or is the game playing us? In our head, we might think that we got what we want. But did we really? Did we really get what we really wanted, or was it just an illusion? An illusion that we got what we wanted. After becoming the queen, it was a very curated decision, like very carefully curated decision. I did not want to be bishop because always works diagonally. Tedi Chang. I'm not a Teha person. I'm a good person. I wouldn't be a knight because crooked walk, like who walks in L shape? No, 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 too difficult, not for me. Castle. Now, this person walks straight, but well, sometimes you need to bend rules. And I decided that I am going to be the queen. I'll walk straight when required diagonally. And as mentioned before, after becoming queen, I realized that a queen was also a pawn on someone else's chessboard. Today, as I stand before you, I would like to share that to become a pawn, to be the pawn, to remain the pawn is the best state of mind because it gives us the sense of understanding that we are not controlling the things. The moment we start feeling that we are controlling the things is the time that we start losing control altogether. I'll be the pawn. Because guess what? I have asked myself this question. Am I playing the game or is the game playing me? I know my answer. What is your answer? Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri Deshmukh. Can we have a big round of applause for distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri Deshmukh? Toastmasters and future Toastmaster, it's time now that we enter to the second section of this Toastmasters meeting. And that, if you remember, I said you thinking at your feet. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time that we enter into the table topic section. Well, Albert Einstein once said that failure is success in progress, right? Like as and when we are stepping into the success mode of this meeting on, it's very important that we hit on to some benchmark personalities. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a personality amidst us who is going to take the stage on as a table topics master. Well, that personality will let each one of you know what wonder she has with her in the table topic section. But it's a moment of pride and honor to call on stage distinguished Toastmaster Richa Chawla, and let us invite her with big round of applause because she is going to be the table topics master of today's Toastmasters meeting. Madam Table Topics Master, this key stage is all yours now. Over to you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for such a warm and loving welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. First of all, I am highly honored to be here on Globetrotters virtual stage because we are privileged to have so many distinguished Toastmasters joining us from so many different places all across the globe. Wonderful to have you all. Table topic segment is the most awaited segment of every Toastmasters meeting because in this particular section, guests get a privilege to be on the stage and to contribute in the meeting. Today, as we are speaking about failures, so let me add on something. Success comes after failure, and success comes only to those who dare and act. Do you all believe in that? If you do, raise your hand quickly. Let me see who's the first one to raise his hand. Well, it was our Toastmaster of the day, second was the speaker 2, and third was evaluator 3. And everybody followed. Thank you. It seems that yes, you are still with me. Thanks a lot. In table topic segment, we will be giving you a chance to speak and to be on the floor just for 1 to 2 minutes. In most of the places, it is officially known as the jam session, impromptu or extempore section also. So I'm sure you have been waiting eagerly to be on the floor. So to set an example, the first person who raised his hand was our Toastmaster of the day. So let him be on the floor once again, but right now with a different topic. So please put your hands together to welcome again the Toastmaster of the day as a part of table topic segment.
Thank you, ma'am.
Are you there with me?
Yes, distinguished
Okay.
Toastmaster, I am.
So your topic is you need to speak about a person who had drastic failures, a series of failures, especially in the year 2000, and he's from Bollywood industry. Any idea who is he? He's Amitabh Bachchan. So tell us something about him.
A very great morning to each one of you. Well, this is your question number 1 for 1 lakh rupees. This is exactly when I listened him in the Kaun Banega Crorepati, a very gratitudinal reality show. The moment we say Amitabh Bachchan, you must be thinking about his acting skills, his MC skills, and so on. However, I relate to him the kind of aura he has wheresoever he goes in. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, the interesting segment which made me a big fan of him was he was rejected from a radio station because of his grumpy voice. I kept on wondering, how do you relate to failures? Well, If anyone, if you have heard his interviews, he always used to tell one quick thing, because he always started his life with failures. And of course, in the dream city Mumbai, if you have ever met with failures, you are actually stepping on the big stone to success. And today we see, wherever he goes, he takes in the big crowd with him. Well, the biggest failure I personally feel he felt that he was juggling between the kind of benchmarks he has created in the society versus he being a normal human being like us. Can you imagine? Even if he sneezes, people will think that, oh, he's such a Hippocratic person. He doesn't care about the society. It's very difficult being a celebrity, I must tell you. You do anything, you will commit a big sinner. Well, Amitabh Bachchan was no different. However, what I personally learned from him is, ladies and gentlemen, his eagerness to march ahead. He has never looked behind. And look what a greater personality he is. His voice, welcome all of you to Kaun Banega Crorepati, itself tells us the benchmark he has created. So I personally feel that he has stepped into the marginal success of his life by meeting failures. Do you think the same, Table Topics Master?
Thanks a lot for adding a lot of energy and element in this particular segment. Would you like to nominate our next speaker? I want somebody from the guest category.
Okay. Just a sec. Can I request Shrabani Ghodai, if you're here, to go on next?
Wonderful. Thank you. Sarbani, are you there with us? Are you able to hear me? Please turn on your video and unmute yourself if you are with us. I have not seen her because she has turned her video off since the very beginning. So let me welcome on the stage another distinguished Toastmaster, who is Distinguished Toastmaster Ankan. Please welcome on the stage. Are you there with us?
Absolutely, but I'm not the distinguished Toastmaster, madam.
Okay, so
I'm
one day
just
you
a
will be.
Toastmaster.
You know, whenever I tag people like this, they complete their distinguished Toastmaster journey very quickly. So are you one of them?
You made my Sunday. Thank you very much.
I'm made for that only. Well, are you ready for the next topic?
Absolutely, madam.
Wonderful to have you on the virtual floor. Your topic is something relating to science. Some of the children just hate this subject, but the syllabi is never complete if you don't look at that particular chapter. He's a great scientist, but had faced a lot of failures. Whom am I talking about?
Thomas Edison.
Yes, please, over to you.
Always we think that we fail. We have to leave. Being it Toastmaster, being it professional life, it has always been the case. Now, while reading a book, I came to know about Thomas Edison, who was failed numerous times during his scientific experiments. But at the end of the day, he was the person who invented such wonderful innovation like the bulb and many other things in the field of electricity and in the field of communication. But there the secret was, he said that when I succeed to a particular experiment, it was only after thousand failures. And that sentence, I believe, one of the most motivating sentence in my personal life. It happened, be it in my GMAT. In the previous attempts, I failed miserably, but that sentence helped me to get 750 and get into IST. Being a product manager, it happened with me Many of the releases were not accepted by the customer, but after those failure attempts, some release I managed to bring smile in my thousands of customers. So I believe all the audience, whenever you are failing again and again to pursue something, please think or read about Thomas Edison. Over to you, Madam Table Topic Master.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Ankan. I really wish that very soon I should welcome you as distinguished Toastmaster. All my good wishes are with you. And thanks a lot for adding lot of elements, logical points in this particular segment. I admired the way you mentioned in the evaluation section also. Always a pleasure to hear you. Well, I see three raise of hands, so it's my pleasure to have our Sergeant of Arms, who most of the time hides behind the camera. So I would like to welcome on the floor Toastmaster Maubuni. Are you there with us with a sweet smile? Thank you. So your topic is you need to tell us something about a person who has failed a lot of times in cricket and is known as a cool captain. Whom am I talking about?
I guess it's Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
Absolutely. Over to you.
Failure is the pillar of success. We all know. But it has different aspects. For me, being a researcher, if my guide or who is the board of president, they will give me opportunity that this stage for yours, you can take time, you can do lots of experiments. If for each experiment you have much sufficient time, you can do better. But if I say you, Mogoni, you have to complete this work within 1 day in first time, it's completely difficult for you because you will start first experiment. You have to know what is good, what is bad. And for me, the Captain Cool is that kind of person who always, being a captain, what I knew about him, he always gives space to all the cricketers that brothers, the stage for yours, you have to practice. You can do better. What you can do? This stage is for yours, and we all are the champions, and we will do better. Here in GTC, our captain pool is, you know, my dear friends, who is on the smiling face is our Toastmaster Miral, Kanti Ghosh, who is our captain cool in GTC, who always cheer us. Nobody will do. It will be happen. We will grab the opportunity. We will be a great. Next time we will be the better club. And first of all, another important thing, he always tells that Mogoni, you have to be the better version of yourself. In his every speech, this term is there, but today I think it was lacking. These all are from my side. And back to you, ma'am.
Thanks a lot, Moguni. Please keep coming on the virtual stage. I would like to see you on physical stage also. So please be there. You are very charming. And I always would love to have you again and again. Do we have the privilege of hearing distinguished Toastmaster Arnab? Are you there with us? Otherwise, I'm going to give the chance to more people because I still see people raising their hand. Okay.
I'm here.
Oh, wonderful to have you. So I would request you to turn on your video as well so that we can see whether you are there or not there. Wow, wonderful to have you. So for you, the topic is you need to tell us about a person who owns a company of phone, and it's a very popular phone. We feel lucky to have that phone and carry it everywhere, wheresoever we go. And his company must be fetching a profit of maybe $1 trillion. Whom am I talking about?
A person who owns a phone. Are you talking about the late Steve Jobs?
Yes, absolutely. Please, over to you.
Well, Madam Table Topic Master, to talk about the late Steve Jobs, I think to me Steve Jobs is probably a speaker and someone who inspires you
Yes,
all rolled into one. You simply need to look into YouTube and look at his speech on when he unraveled the iPhone in front of the world. His words, and I quote, were, what if I give to you a phone, the iPod, as well as the computer all rolled into one?" And then he presented the iPhone. That to me is inspiration itself, because at that point of time the touch phone market had not started. We had no concept of what the smartphone would be, and Apple revolutionized the market. Now, was this easy? Of course it wasn't. Steve Jobs had his own sets of failures, as well as before he reached his goal for success. The iPhone failed numerously in while testing in Palo Alto, in Apple's headquarters. Not only that, initially nobody accepted the idea of a phone which could have been operated by touch, and Jobs actually faced the same issues with the iPod as well, but he pushed through. What we can learn from Steve Jobs is to first never give up. I think that's a basic lesson which most inspirational people give us, that never give up, persevere with your efforts. He did, and that is why today we have the iPhone, which has succeeded the iPod. And second would be very, very clever marketing. At that point of time, the market was dominated by Nokia and BlackBerry, and yet the iPhone came in and revolutionized the market completely. People bought the new product, accepted it, and started using it, and today it is literally a prized possession to have. So a little bit of marketing. So firstly, if you ever fail in life, or if you ever have any hurdles or setbacks, don't give up. Always remember that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And of course, if your product has a little sparkle of magic marketing, it'll always help it to succeed. Back to you.
Thanks a lot. We are privileged and honored to have your presentation on the virtual stage. Thank you. Now, do we have the privilege of having distinguished Toastmaster Ayan also? Are you there with us? Still with the hands up?
Yeah, of course.
Wonderful to have you. We are again sharing stage, but this time it is virtual. Well, for you, the topic is you need to tell us about a woman author who used to have suicidal thoughts, but then lately became the best selling series. Who is it that I'm talking
J.K.
about?
Rowling.
Who?
J.K. Rowling.
Yes, absolutely. Over to you.
Alohomora. That's the magic word to open things that are closed. And that happened, ladies and gentlemen, for J.K. Rowling, because she believed that it's not yet time to give up. J.K. Rowling was happily married. J.K. Rowling was a happy mother, but one day, one by one, things started dwindling. And suddenly, the greatest of fears that we all feel and overcome us started overcoming and overwhelming her. Just like the Dementors in Harry Potter, depression entered into the life of J.K. Rowling, and she did not yet know how to say out loud, Expecto Patronum, and to drive it away. But she had that one little glow of faith, of belief that made it work. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is faith, the last thing to die. And J.K. Rowling had faith in her ability to tell stories because that is what she had done all her life. And even though she was divorced and raising a child as a single mother, she sat at that coffee store, at that coffee house, and started writing Harry Potter about the boy who lived. And through it, she wanted to live out her fantasies. One thing led to another, and finally, the first draft of Harry Potter was ready. Excited, J.K. Rowling took it to a publisher, got rejected. Took it to another publisher, got rejected. Took it to publishers one after another till she faced 18 rejections. She could have given up, but she had faith in herself and in the power of Harry Potter. And finally, Scholastic published Harry Potter. What happened next is for all of us to remember. Harry Potter became a sensation in the world, but most importantly, it completely turned her life. If J.K. Rowling could have created magic for herself, can we all not create magic for ourselves? I believe we can. All we need to do is to believe in ourselves and say with pride, Aloha Mora. What do you say, Table Topic Master Richa?
Thanks a lot. Wonderful to have you. And thanks a lot to each person who contributed in the table topic segment. And please remember, sometimes we get hopeless. Sometimes we ask God, why me? But you heard a long list of people who had faced failures in life. So please remember, success is a long list of failures also. So keep moving from one failure to the other, keep improving, and enjoy Toastmasters. Back to Toastmasters of the day. Thank you.
Well, friends, I shouldn't say this. However, this table topics section, which I exquisitely was, enjoying it. There was a quiz kind of thing. You have to guess the personality and then you march on a different twist in the table topic section. I think this section itself deserves a big, big round of applause. And thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Richa Chawla. Well, that's where you learn from experience, right? You cannot just serve anything on the plate. You need to garnish it really well, right? And I believe this was the best garnishing I have ever seen in the plate of table topic section. Thank you so much, Dityam Richa Chawla. I think a lot of things to learn when you are a newbie in the Toastmasters International. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are somewhere sandwiched between the Sunday afternoon lunch and the meeting going on right now. I know I'm kind of finding it very difficult to have my sandwich layers of theme in between. However, it's always important, ladies and gentlemen, that momentarily whatever happens, you learn from them, right? I think we all have been struggling to speak in the public forum. We have learned from our mistakes, and today was no different. Globetrotters Toastmasters Club has united all of us into this bench. Well, I will not really fight with your scrumptious lunch waiting on the table and you being hungry. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time we enter into the third segment of the Toastmasters meeting. Well, if you're asking me, hey, Toastmasters of the day, I believe you're forgetting to talk anything about the theme today, right? Well, let me tell you back. Well, this section of the Toastmasters meeting is something which is the most helpful one, ladies and gentlemen, because in this world of nobody really caring about you, well, this section will help you to march a step ahead, right? So let us be all yours, and it is not just the speakers who are going to be evaluated. It is something which is we will learn and implement in our life. Without wasting much time, let's time. I give the stage to our Honorable General Evaluator who is waiting with his team to give us a great experience of evaluation. Well, what are we waiting? Let us give him a big round of applause as I invite him, our Honorable General Evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Anpal, on the stage. Stage is all yours, Sir Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day, Dev Jina. It's now time to quickly evaluate our speakers. We had 3 speeches today. The first was delivered by Brinal, and his topic was Choose Your Words Wisely. I would now like to invite our evaluator who is very far, far, far away. And I think it's 2 in the morning, or I don't know, 3 in the morning. Over to you, Arnav Nag, for the evaluation.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and of course, a person who chose his words very, very, very carefully and wisely indeed, Toastmaster Mrinal in particular. Mrinal, I loved the way you started your speech. When you lit a cigarette, I was wondering What are we doing? Are we actually promoting social taboo in the form of smoking in a speech? And then you went on to explain how the root cause of lung cancer is your DNA, and we are destroying a $941 billion industry. And for a second, believe me, for a second, I believed you. I said, wow, this person has done his research. And we all know cancer is indeed linked to your DNA. We also know that the tobacco industry is huge. And then you came up with your theme, which is bang on, a perfect way to grab your attention, grab the audience's attention. What also I liked was a little bit of research that you did in your speech. And of course, the way you used props, the way you were writing on the wall with that crayon as a prop came out nicely. You talked about the way one should address people, in the way you addressed your daughter, telling her that you are a big girl now, do not do this, and she listened to you. You had two great stories, one about your daughter and one about your friend Sandeep and his girlfriend, and I really liked the characters that you brought in. All in all, this was what made your speech wise. Now, you said that you should choose your words carefully. Similarly, I believe that when we deliver a speech, we need to be a little careful as well. So, in order to make you careful and in order to make you improve, these are a few suggestions that I have. Vinal, you had a virtual background. Now, I'm all for a virtual background. The only problem is that once you do that, your nice gestures that you have somehow tend to get blurred. That is something we have to deal with. This is the same simple reason as to why, even in speech contests, you do not have the background. So while you did crayon in your hand, all those actions that you were doing were lost to me because I could not see what your hands were doing at that point of time. Also, I felt that when you showed characters such as Sandeep and his girlfriend, it was Mrinal talking with Mrinal. It could have been two different voices. Two different voices would have helped us identify the character. Yes, you had them in different positions. Why not add a voice to them? I also felt that while you did have two different stories, such as your daughters and your friend Sandeep's, the conclusion was too abrupt. Okay, Sandeep didn't happen, and that is why you should choose your words carefully. Mrinal, when you write a speech, maybe cut it a little short and have that message in the end, have that call to action. Do not rush to the conclusion. A well-rounded speech gives you time to conclude and allows you a time for a message. So if I have to summarize, Manal, you did meet your objective. Your speech had a purpose where you talked about choosing words carefully. You had a great start. You had good research. You had good characterization in your speech. You had a prop and good stories and structure. If you can maybe be a little careful while using the virtual background so your gestures don't get distorted, practice a little more to cut your speech properly so that your message can come out in the end. You, sir, will have a speech that has been chosen very carefully and wisely and well delivered. Back to you, Mr. Channel Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Arnob. That coming from the District 124 evaluation champion is not at all surprising. I think that was an excellent evaluation. The complete 360-degree evaluation, and you told us everything that needed to be told. Thank you so much for doing that. It was a very motivational one as well. And now you can turn off your camera. And now over to you, Mrinal. I think, Mrinal, I kind of agree with what Arnob was saying when it comes to the virtual background, not being able to see all of that, about the way you inspired us. I just want you to be a little careful about choosing your topic carefully and wisely, because your speech, at least the introduction, I felt heavily inspired by a world champion public speaking speech of Mohammad Kaitani. And the crayon example was again another story that is very well told. Though I completely agree that that is something that was very relatable. So if you can be a little more careful about the originality part, even though that is not one of the objectives, I think that will help you push yourself even more. That having been said, Minal, I think you chose your words very wisely, and the speech was absolutely aligned with the objectives of your projects. And for that, I'm going to congratulate you and wish you very best, all the very best for the future. Can we have a huge round of applause for Minal Ghosh? Thank you so much. And now for our second speech. Our second speaker was Shomita. Her speech topic was Choose to Lead. And I will now request Ankun Ghosh to evaluate Shomita's speech.
Am I audible? Because I have some issues.
You are audible and visible, Ankun. Go on. Yes.
The author of my favorite book, Pablo Coelho, says, your project will not be completed till the objective has been achieved. and Toastmaster Shomita. Today, through your speech, this is a brilliant example of how the project objective can be achieved with a brilliant speech with the personal stories. So your project objective was giving the example of your leadership style, which you have given, coaching, democratic, and other leadership style as well to give example which you have given, like the authoritative, autocratic, and the whole thing done within a story of yourself, your manager. So brilliantly it was done. The next thing I like, the delivery part. So throughout your speech, your voice modulation, your body language, your use of stage, like when you are giving the example of your boss, you move to the right corner of the virtual podium. It is also a classic example of how to use the podium while delivering a speech. Now, PM Shomita, as you are a veteran speaker, we have lots of expectation while you speak. Some of those expectations which also can improve your speech. Number one, you have given example of yourself, your boss. But as an audience, if you could have given some more relatable example like Adolf Hitler for autocratic style of leadership or MS Dhoni for the coaching type of leadership, we could have connect in a better way. The next thing, I believe in a leadership, you correctly say it at the end, the most critical part, changing the leadership style based on the situation. One example would have been the ice on the cake. Like you could have said at the start of any project, we can be democratic, coaching our leadership style. But when the deadlines are appearing, we have to be some authoritative leadership style. So overall, it was a brilliant speech aligned with your project objective and a classic example of how a speech can be delivered. But at the same point of time, some more generic, relatable example and example of the part that how leadership can be changed based on situation, it would have been a classic speech. What do you think, Sir General Evaluator? Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ankon. That was a very interesting evaluation. I kind of agree with your commendations. I think they were very well thought about and very well represented. I completely agree that Shomita has met all her project objectives. And I think, Ankon, today you fell into the trap of what does an evaluator do when there is very little to recommend. And you talked about two things. I think you talked about the content, and she might have given more pop culture references or generic ideas. And you talked about how she could have talked about the transition. So both are actually good ideas, but I think it's better if you don't talk about a person's subject. Like, for example, if, I still remember when I was a kid and Titanic came out. No, I wasn't a kid, but you kind of get the drill. I think I was in class 10 or 11. And there was a review of the Titanic in the newspaper in which they said, why isn't Titanic, the film, made about the musicians who are playing till the last moment? Why is it about Jack and Rose? Now, that is Cameron's choice. Just like today, it is Shomita's choice that Shomita wants to talk about her own manager and not about Adolf Hitler or MS Dhoni. So it's a choice, and I think we have to respect that. That having been said, I kind of agree that the transition part might have been a welcome addition if people could have mentioned when to switch into that. But that again is Shomita's personal choice. I'm going to stick to that. Now, coming to you, Shomita, in terms of your speech, I found you to have employed wonderful storytelling techniques. There were very interesting examples about project release and additional tasks. You discussed about leadership example beautifully with relevant examples, coaching democratic for yourself and autocratic for your manager. But I also agree with Ankon, sometimes it's difficult for people to understand what you're talking about. So you might have wanted to have maybe one or two more examples of these people so that we could have completely agreed. That having been said, this is one of the best speeches about this particular project that I've witnessed it since it was introduced through Pathways. And I think you've done a beautiful, brilliant job, Shomita. Very difficult to evaluate a speech like that. Ankon, you have also done a very good job. Can we have a huge round of applause for the speaker and the evaluator. It was a very difficult speech and to evaluate. Well done indeed. And now for our third speech. Our third speaker was Gayatri. Her topic was pawn, and she's going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Meena M. May I please request Meena to provide us with the evaluation?
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Can I have distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri spotlighted along with me? Gayatri, am I playing the game or game is playing me? While you hook me with this thought, let me assure you, you certainly played along with my emotions as you beautifully emoted the emotions of humor, pride, feeling low, and keeping me confused because life is all about emotions. What I like the most is your poised nature of communicating, setting the stage with a storyline. I could instantly relate to the first day of my office and how you beautifully transition to your theme pawn. That is something which I thoroughly enjoyed. What I also liked, I would like to give examples of what I have seen. The emotions of you turning to a queen, setting that pride, to resigning and your immediate manager asking, do you even know what a resignation looks like? Brought an instant humor in me. And also some other places of humor or places of feeling low was when you were taken down as a pawn. These are different emotions. I will give all of these in detail to you in an offline evaluation. And what I would feel we could have done greater is the three elements: transitions, stage usage, and the message. Transition, first one, while you were taking us with the questionnaire of even Harry Potter felt, a character in Harry Potter felt that they can be a professor. You almost made me feel, yeah, this is not easy. This game of chess is not easy for me. You could have given a pause there, but immediately you transitioned to, well, I was in Delhi. So that pause was what I was looking for because I was reflecting all along with the thoughts that you had left me with. And also the second place, while you were asking questions, am I the bad person? I was resonating with the elements you had shared. Instantly you transitioned to all right, done, and you moved on to the next element. So please give us a pause. It helps us to reflect what you're sharing with us. And the reason why is, while you told about you being a pawn and you moved out of your comfort zone and you started playing the game again, you told you changed the board. What pushed you to change the board? And you did mention the second thing, after withdrawing the resignation, you got back to the game. You did mention your supervisor told a few sentences, but what is it you felt from within to have the transition? I was looking for these elements. And when it comes to message, there were places where I strongly felt, yes, now I'm going to be the queen along with Gayatri. But instantly you made me feel, okay, I'm not going to move the pawn. There were phases where you made me feel, yeah, this is not happening. But instantly you transition to, I'm going to change the game. So, what is the message that I was confused all along? What is it that I want to have? So, maybe you can try creating two characters, fall in and fall out, and then create a strong impact of let go or will you fight? That would have made a choice for me what I want to choose. So to sum up, I loved your poised nature of story narration and the way you set the stage, use of visual aids, also talking to audience by coming closer. Please take care of your transitions, stage usage, and the message. I'm sure you will be a great speaker, and I would love to hear your upcoming speeches. Over to Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Meena. I thought that was an outstanding evaluation. And today, I think all our evaluators have done a brilliant job. Arnav was our first evaluator. And it's like 2:30 in the morning or something. To be awake and be in your senses to do something is so difficult. Our second evaluator, Ankon, he had a very tough job because it was a near perfect speech. And to come up with recommendations for that is so difficult. And you, Meena, my God, to pay attention to that 20-minute speech, it's like three speeches being rolled into one. Still come up with recommendations, summary, and to kind of tie it together beautifully. Uh, Excellent. So great presentation style. And now coming to you, Gayatri, as a speaker. If I'm not mistaken, this speech is about practicing delivering longer speeches so that you can be a professional speaker, right? Okay. So just one question: is this a true story that you're referring to?
So there were 2, 3 stories from my previous jobs, like Times, Viacom, and Z Network. I clubbed them together to make it into one. Like I took that creative liberty.
Okay, perfect. The reason I'm asking this is for the following reason. So normally when you are and I have, by the way, I have experience of delivering this speech, and I know it's very tough. So first things first, Gayatri, your story about being a pawn was excellent storytelling. Okay, just outstanding. Your job babes were brilliant. You know, the Akam newsletter, the chessboard with the pawns moving, all of that. Now, at certain points, it seemed like you're referring to Toastmasters, probably due to the Akam, and that is where it became a little confusing. I felt because you know, as a professional,
I did not have a
you did not have a file. That clears it. So you and so what happens is whenever you're a professional speaker, you have to be very clear as to why you're being called and why you're talking about. So, for example, are you the subject matter expert? So think about why you would call someone, either because they're subject matter experts or they have some professional experience which will help you. So when you take examples about taking the knight of the opposite team out, or people being jealous about when you're going by 2 steps, as an allegory, it was very powerful, but also a little unclear, as Meena has already pointed out. Um, so that having been said, you know, when it comes to some of the lessons learned, I love the way you're referencing pop culture references like Rajniti and Harry Potter. I also love the way you were ending. It was very exciting when the pawn became a queen, but you're also pawns in someone's chessboard. So this was like an inception, you know, a chessboard within a chessboard within a chessboard. So from that angle, it was very deep. It was very well delivered. But I think at the end, when you asked, are we playing the game or is the game playing us? Excellent message, too deep. Maybe you could have set the context as to who the people are, because we are trying to be a professional speaker. So our like something about the audience. So when you're delivering this speech, you know, if you say something like, dear members of the audience, as lawyers, is the game playing you or are you the game? So we would have known that you're delivering it to lawyers. You know, maybe that could have been an angle. Here, I was not clear what is the professional setting where you're delivering the speech. So I was not able to evaluate it appropriately. However, one of the main objectives of this speech is to deliver a lengthier speech. And I think in terms of that objective, Gayatri, you flourished. You did a brilliant job. Delivering a speech of 7 minutes is so difficult. Delivering an 18 to 20-minute speech with voice modulation, with body language, with job aids is so difficult. I think thanks to you and your mentors, you were very, very interesting today. And I congratulate you for successfully completing this project. Well done indeed. And now, very quickly, let us request Indranil or Shushmita as a backup to tell us about the timing reports. May we have the timing reports, please? Do we have any of the timers?
Yeah, I have the timing report.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let me share my screen.
Thank you, Indranil.
Okay, so for prepared speeches, Toastmaster Gayatri, speech duration was 18 to 22 minutes. She finished the speech on 22 minutes 30 seconds. Toastmaster Somita, duration was 5 to 7 minutes, and she completed her speech on 7 minutes. Toastmaster Minal, his speech duration was 5 to 7 minutes, and he was timed out. He completed his speech on 7 minutes 50 seconds.
Oh.
For evaluation,
so is not eligible for voting.
Arnab, Toastmaster Arnab. Yeah.
Okay. By the way,
for evaluation, Toastmaster. Yeah, actually, the order was did not change the order.
Yeah, no problem. Go on. Go on.
Okay. So for evaluation, Toastmaster Arnab, he took 3 minutes 22 seconds. Toastmaster Ankan 3 minutes, and Toastmaster Meena 3 minutes 45 seconds. So Toastmaster Meena was timed out because the maximum time limit was 3 minutes 30 seconds. Now, topic section, Toastmaster Seshadev, he took 2 minutes 16. Toastmaster
I'm
Ankan 2
losing
minutes
you.
11, and she was
Can you repeat the table topic timer timings, please? Shisha to how
yeah 2 minutes 16 seconds.
Okay.
Toastmaster Ankan 2 minutes 11 seconds.
Okay.
Toastmaster Mobuni 2 minutes 40 seconds. Maximum timing she could take 2 minutes 30 seconds, but she took 2 minutes 40 seconds, so she is not eligible for voting.
Okay. Mobini is not
Toastmaster
eligible
Arnab,
for voting.
2 minutes
Okay.
15 seconds.
Okay.
Mobuni.
Okay. Okay.
Toastmaster Arnab, 2 minutes 15 seconds. Toastmaster Ayan, 2 minutes 25 seconds. Apart from Toastmaster Mobuni, all table topic speakers are eligible for voting. This is my report, and over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. And this is an example of not giving up, aligned to our theme. So Indralin Mukherjee, despite low bandwidth, despite so many things happening, despite being taken over by Shushmita as a backup, you did a great job. And thank you so much for the timings. Can we have a round of applause for our timer, please? A very difficult job performed to the best of his ability. Today we had an arc counter in Dhrubadeep Mitro. Dhrubadeep, can we have the report, please?
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Sure. Thank you, Dhrubadeep.
Well, today it was one of those days where we had star speakers, and you know what? It felt like a musical night where all the speakers are like musicians and they have played their part flawlessly. So kudos to all those speakers who have been flawless in their R counter report. Special mention to UTM Gayatri Deshmukh, since she had a 22-minute speech and all throughout 22 minutes she was completely flawless. So special mention to her. And there are 3 people who could not make it to the flawless list, but were almost there. Toastmaster Mrinal Kanti Ghosh had 1 repeat, always, always. Toastmaster Meena, in her evaluator speech, had a couple of hours. And Toastmaster Mohboni, in her table topic speech, had 3 long pauses and one fumble. So otherwise, the meeting was completely flawless, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dhrubadeep. Can we have a huge round of applause for Dhrubadeep, please? What I really liked about you, Dhrubadeep, is the way you started off with an interesting story when you talked about music, etc. And I think as role players, we should always try to see how we can define our roles in a slightly interesting way that makes it more memorable. And I have to say, hats off to Gayatri for being flawless despite speaking for so long. It's so tough. So congratulations once again. And now over to the grammarian. Well, did we meet with success or did we meet with failure? Which side was higher? Let's find out from our grammarian Madhusudhan today. Over to you, Madhusudhan CS.
Hello, everyone. I will go according to the chronological order. Initially, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sheshadev, has given a very beautiful quotation. Failure is the greatest element for the stupendous success. Then coming to speaker 1, Toastmaster Minal. Your words are very powerful. And coming to speaker 2, Toastmaster Somita, about leadership style. She related to 5 fingers, resembling 5 members of Pandavas. And you have to adopt different strategies depending on the situation that will take you to great leadership. Then coming to Toastmaster Speaker 3, Gayatri Deshmukh. What went wrong? And if somebody hurts you, forget it. And are we playing the game or the game is playing us? These words attracted me. And coming to this word of the day, Toastmaster of the day used the word of the day success several times. Toastmaster Somita Sen Gupta twice. speak Gayatri Deshmukh twice. And under coming to table topic, speaker Seshdev Toastmaster once, Toastmaster Mobani once, and Ian Paul twice. That's all. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Madhusudhan. I think that was a very detailed report, but just one suggestion as a grammarian. If you can also tell us how we can improve ourselves, what are pronunciations or rather mispronunciations that we can do. Also, we usually do not make the grammarian's report specific. We make it generic and the accountant's report specific because we believe that grammar is important for everyone. So no matter who has said what well, you could have just mentioned that when five fingers were pointed, referring to the Pandavas, it was a great example. Or when one of the speakers says, "Do we play the game or the game plays us?" It was very interesting. So you do not necessarily need to say that it was spoken by Gayatri or it was spoken by Shobita, as an example. The word of the day I felt was very interesting and something we could all use. And obviously, many of us used it. What I thought was missing, Madhusudan, was the usage of how we can improve ourselves. If you would have mentioned about that as well, it would have been the perfect report. Nevertheless, thank you so much for your efforts and for being so detailed in your reporting. Can we have a huge round of applause for the grammarian, please? Thank you so much. And now we are going to move to the table topic speakers. We had 5 table topic speakers today. Before I tell you anything about the table topic mistress, the mistress of spices, I have to tell you about the speakers. The speakers were asked to speak about people who had failed at some point in time. Our first speaker was Shisha, and I think you made the topic your own, Shish. When you were speaking about Amitabh Bachchan, you became like the Amitabh Bachchan, and you gave such wonderful examples. I love the example when you said even if he's sneezing, people are going to criticize him. Very difficult to be in the public limelight. And your examples of failure and success pertaining to Amitabh Bachchan were great. I thought that was a wonderful table topic speech. Our second speaker was Ankan. He was speaking about the failure by taking the example of Thomas Alva Edison and relating it to his own failures and making it to ISP. Ankan, I think that was a very good example. But because the topic was a little bit more about Thomas Alva Edison, and maybe you do not know much about him, we know only to an extent. I thought it was a very clever way of making the speech your own. So congratulations to Ankan, you too. A third speaker was Moboni. She was given the topic of MS Dhoni, kind of rhymes, Moboni, MS Dhoni. She spoke about being a researcher and she did not always speak about Dhoni. In fact, she compared Dhoni to our very able president Vinal and unfortunately got disqualified and got timed out. So this is the perfect example of why it's important to know about things. And maybe nobody doesn't know that much about MS Dhoni's failure. So she tried to do what she could. And I think you spoke very well given the circumstances. And now to Orno. Orno, despite being half sleepy and probably half dead, and God save his marriage, he was speaking about Steve Jobs. And he spoke about Steve and his speeches and the way he presented the iPhone and spoke about never giving up and the power of marketing. Oh no, this was an amazing speech, and this shows why you have been a podium finisher at a district level table topics contest, not once but twice across 2 continents. Very well done, very well spoken, and shows about your depth of knowledge on a variety of subjects. And finally, we had a certain distinguished Toastmaster coming and speaking about J.K. Rowling, whether he managed to say Aloha Mora or Expecto Patronum is for all of us to gauge later on. But I would also like to thank him and all the other speakers for speaking today. Thank you so much, everyone. And now to table topic, Mrs. Richa Chawla. Such a pleasure to interact with Richa once again. A powerful trainer, a powerful speaker, a powerful human being, one of the strongest women leaders I have met in my life. I just felt today you two Globetrotters to be way more accomplished than we are. You could have mentioned about how the topic is to be handled a bit more. That I'm going to give you a question about someone's failure, and you have to guess the person. You have to talk about that person's life or about that person's failure or whatever. So that context setting would have helped, but you give it to us as a challenge. And I think the Globetrotters today ensured that we say challenge accepted. But if you would have told to us as to whether we have to speak about Amitabh Bachchan or about his failure, particularly in 2000, I think that's when he went bankrupt. Or speaking about Thomas Edison or about him never giving up 999 times so that his 1000th attempt was a light bulb, that wasn't clear. But I loved the way you performed it as a quiz. It was an excellent idea and beautifully performed. Can we have a huge round of applause for our Children's Office Mistress, Richa Chawla? And where is Richa? I have no idea. Okay. And now coming to our final role player for today, the Toastmaster of the day. Now, before I tell you anything about the Toastmaster of the day, I would like to quickly tell you about how the meeting went. So our Sergeant at Arms, Mobuni, I think you did a great job. You mentioned about the rules, about the mission. You discussed almost everything. And I think it's very, very difficult to keep doing that. And you deserve a round of applause. Well done indeed, Mobini. The only point of improvement, scope for improvement, is I thought you were fumbling a little in between. I think you were pausing in between, getting your thoughts clear. So that you could have been a little bit more prepared, but otherwise, great job. We move on to then our president, Shushmita. Shushmita, a wonderful job as a presiding officer. Well done indeed. I just felt that maybe if you would have asked the guests to introduce themselves or tell us how they heard about the meeting, because there's so many guests, it could have been even better, but that's the only thing you could have done slightly better. But otherwise, a great presidential address, and absolutely loved you as the president. And now for the Toastmaster of the day, Shesh Dev Jina. Can someone please highlight him? I love the theme that you selected. Inhale, inhale the failures. And there was hardly any failure to inhale. It was an excellent introduction, at least of the general evaluator. Loved the professionalism, the microphone that is there on your collar, the badge that you're using, very, very professional. I just feel, Shesh, you have to be a little bit more careful about the selection of words. For example, you have used phrases like rat competition instead of rat race, or you can never win should be you cannot always win. Keep testing the benches of failure should be maybe keep checking the benches of failure, or keep trying out the benches of failure. Example of beads with garland. So you were sometimes saying beads, which means you should be mentioning a necklace. And sometimes you're saying today all these failures will help us make a beautiful garland. But that having been said, these are small little issues that can crop up anytime. Your background is, of course, District 124, where nothing is ever a bore, where no one thinks of work as a chore, and where everyone keeps doing more. So I think you did more than what was required today. And for that, can we have a huge round of applause for our Toastmaster of the day, Shesh Dev Jena. And now over to our Toastmaster of the day for the final closing. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Back to you, Shesh Dev.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big, big round of applause for our Mr. General Evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Anpal, and more importantly, our District Director of District 124, Distinguished Toastmaster Anpal. Thank you so much. Well, as I said, no one to come in between your scrumptious Sunday lunch and the kind of timing we are exactly working upon. So let me crisply end this meeting. And before I give it to the presiding officer, I am not a celebrity. I am not someone who has excelled in every corners of the world, but there's one thing which I can share with each one of you. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, if you have heard me, I said, if our great leaders, great personalities could taste this one beat of failure, it is always for the behest of your life. So, ladies and gentlemen, next time, if you're meeting with any such of instances, which to you means failure, inhale it. You literally have to face it. You have to win over it, and you never know where you're exactly heading to. Like Globetrotters Toastmasters meeting really started on time. Let us make this spend short, and I'll give the stage to the very own Toastmaster Minal Kanti Ghosh as the presiding officer to have the meeting closure. Thank you so much for hearing me up. Honorable presiding officer, the stage is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please unmute yourself and clap for our Toastmaster Sesadev Jena. And I must thanks to our District Director DTM Orenpal to presence in the meeting more than 2 hours 25 minutes. It's a great pleasure for us. So without further ado, I just want to declare, I hope that all are participating in the voting. So best role player, best primary role player. Any guesses? Our District Director DTM Orenpal. Next, our auxiliary role player, our grammarian CS Madhusudan. Now, time for the best speaker. Any guesses from the audience?
Somita.
Yes. Today, the best speaker is Toastmaster Somita. Hearty congratulations, Somita. Now, coming for the next best role player, best evaluator of the day. None other than DTM Arnab now. And next, and the last, I think it's the last part, the best TT speaker. Any guesses? Today, all table topic speakers are fabulous. Any guesses? Who are the winner in the table topic speaker? I don't know why all people are so silent.
DTM.
Yes.
That's it. There is no point of failing me.
So congratulations, our district director, DTM Oren Paul, the winner for the best table topic speaker.
Thank
So
you
with
so
that
much
all,
once again.
I officially close the meeting of 80th meeting of GTC. Now we can stop the recording and we can hear for the chit chat.